you said you had to let go of 60% of your staff during a market crash. Like, what were you going through that day?
Well, it was, I had a colleague who's now a very close friend named Andrew Lowitz, who was the director. I was one of the sales managers. And, he came in one morning and pulled us aside. He's like, today's going to be a bad day. And explained to us what was going on, what we had to do, why we had to do it. I don't think it was like that shocking, but I mean, I don't, it sucked. That's the
Yeah.
easiest way to, it was very unfortunate, and it was sad. It was frustrating, but it was also to me, like, I was like, yes, of course, like we have to do this. We have no revenue, right? We have no
Uh-huh.
customers. Everything is gone from, a rocket ship to like the water literally during the great financial crisis. As anyone who went through that selling any sort of services will remember, like it just went to zero because no one knew what was going to happen. It was like February of 2009.
Uh-huh.
And we had to take quick decisive action to save the business, right? And to save what we could so that the people that remained, could continue to do this, and so that we could have, a career, and so that eventually we could hire some of those people back, which we did. Um,
Uh-huh.
and people did come back, that were unfortunately let go, because for most of them, it wasn't about performance. It was just that we don't have the money needed to keep the staff here. And you saw that across the market. And when you're in the recruiting business and everyone's laying off, it's just not a good time. And you have
Yeah.
to, make those tough calls. So I remember that week, me and Andrew, we were living in Laguna Beach, California. You ever been to Laguna Beach, Kevin?
I have not.
Okay. Well, Laguna Beach is a paradise. And you drive down PCH and you drive through what looks like a canopy of, beautiful, colorful flowers and greens. And you pull through these multi-million-dollar homes. The ocean opens up to your right. And, I had a small little apartment near the beach there. And I remember we went back, to our place, and he lived down the street. We just, had a couple drinks, and I was like, what's going to happen? And he was like, we're going to go to work tomorrow. We're going to figure it out. I mean, that was
Uh,
it. It was like,
yeah.
that's what's going to happen. We're gonna work to figure it out. And that sort of was the MO, right? For the next probably 18 months. That period was 3 to 4 months of just survival, and then a few opportunities presented themselves, and we were able to drive some revenue. A funny story about that is I did in March of 2009. I picked up a customer in the medical device industry. This was an industry that was not as badly damaged because like people are still needing EKG machines, right? Despite probably more so when there's a recession. Lots of heart palpitations, from the populace during a recession. So this EKG company, it's like, yeah, I need a really weird, hard to find developer that works on this specific type of firmware for heart, compliant EKG machines. So I go out and spend a week, calling everyone adjacent to that, trying to figure out who knows this one person that has these skills. And finally, I got referred to a guy that did. And I sent him over there, and like, this guy's perfect. And it was a 180K position. They offered him the job, and it was going to be a $26,000 fee. And my CEO, Beth Gilfeather, she called like the next day after I like processed it in the system. And she's like, I just want you to know that $26,000 is going to allow us to make rent next quarter. Like, you just saved the office. Good job. Get
Wow.
back to work. And I was like, oh, amazing. And then like 2 weeks later, we're trying to collect this cash. And the CFO sends me an email. He's like literally just like, hey, I'm not going to pay you this fee. He's like, I'll pay you $6,000. And if you don't agree to that, then you could sue me. Go ahead. I don't care. I was like, what? And I remember talking to, our CFO or whatever, our counsel. And I was like, is this even possible? Like, how can this happen? This is illegal. And they told me something that I still remember to this day, and I realize is correct. It's contract, handshake, whatever it is. It can be fully written up. Everything is airtight. At the end of the day, it's a game of chicken. Who's going to blink first? This guy's going to say, we're not going to pay you. I'll pay you 6 grand. We'll settle it, call it a deal. Or you could sue me. And that's quite literally what the choice is. And then you can sue them. And everyone knows, what are you going to do? Sue them in small claims court for 26 grand. You probably have a case. How much is it going to cost you? How long is it going to take? And
Uh-huh.
that's the gambit.